Hello again, everybody. We've made it to week number 15 in the National Football League. I'm Ted. He's Ron. This is the Inside Blitz. What's up, Ron?
Another week of football. Only 1 month to go, really,
Unbelievable.
until what is it? Let's see, 20 teams have permanent vacation until next year, and only
Yes.
or 18 teams. Let's do it that way. Seven
Okay.
teams in each division, so 14 teams get an extended stay in the playoffs. We're close to knowing what those 14 are, but we have no idea in what order.
Yes. But do we care about that on this show?
The order, sure, we care about it in this order. It makes a difference winning the division or not.
No, I know. Bottom line is that this is the time of the year that the real cream should come to the top, but it's also one of the strangest seasons ever. Do you agree that this is maybe the weakest and not the deepest the NFL has been in a long time, that there are no elite teams right at this point, and really one of several teams could pull this thing off?
I agree with two of three of your
Okay.
statements there. It's a grab bag and it's wide open, and there may not be any elite teams, and there may be 10 or 12 teams that legitimately have a Super Bowl shot. But I don't think this is one of the weakest years. I just think it's a whole bunch of very good teams. Yeah, we have
Okay.
the usual junk at the bottom, but there are teams that are very, very good. When I power rate these teams year by year, the 12th best team this year is a pretty good team, better
Yeah.
than normal.
Okay, I agree with that, but I think that when you say the better teams, they're also the best teams are inconsistently best. They don't look great every week, and it's like, oh, they're back again, and then there's a little lull, and that's not usually the case with the elite clubs.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a function of it's an 18 game season. It's a
Yeah,
little bit of a function of
18
all
week,
the
yeah.
injuries that, I mean, we're having more Achilles injuries this late in the season, even hamstring injuries. I think the league is just not as healthy as it used to be year by year. We have another two or three quarterbacks that may make their debut this week. It's just on and on and on. So you can't completely get that consistency. But again, you've got some, and I think I'd add one more thing to the mix there.
Okay.
Kansas City, Baltimore, even Buffalo, the old reliables that you just think can flip a switch and turn it on. Maybe they are who they are right now. Baltimore's defense is still, even if it's improved, we talked about this yesterday, they're improved what, to 16th best in the league? And everybody's used to seeing Baltimore in the top five defensively in the league.
Yep.
Kansas City, they're not a top five team. And so we keep waiting for them to turn the switch. And maybe we're missing out on the Seattles and the Rams and some of the teams that are pretty good this year and maybe should be getting even more credit.
Yeah, I don't think on this show we're not missing out on the Rams. I think we pretty much stated over the last several weeks, at least the last month, they're the best team in
Yeah.
the league right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I have them tied with Seattle, but clearly above uh, everybody else right now. There's a top two right now, and it's the Rams and Seattle.
Yeah, how's that in the same division? Uh,
Yeah.
And in the meantime, we are your preferred Thursday night football pregame show. We're going to talk a lot about some old man that's coming back this week in the league, and I mean real old. We're talking grandpa old, and I have interviews with some Chargers, including Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert. We're going to hear from Josh Allen and Drake Maye. But let's talk a little bit about Thursday night football since we are the pregame show for that. And sort of an interesting matchup here. It's the old divisional matchup where Baker Mayfield's been dealing with injuries for the last several weeks, and he's just trying to stay in one piece. And Atlanta's to their backup $1 trillion quarterback at this point, right? In Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, the thing that I was looking for is that Tampa had through their first 11 games a pretty tough schedule because they had the first place schedule, and the other three in the division would be more pretenders because they had the softer schedule.
Yeah.
Well, what happened is Tampa survived those 11 games. I know their record wasn't perfect, but it was clearly ahead of Carolina at that point. And yet in their last 4 games, so you're talking about games 10, 11, 12, 13, they've lost 4 power rating points. We were talking a little bit about where that power number was, and Tampa's power number was probably in the 9, 10, 11 range 4 weeks ago. And now, even though they're tops in the division, they're probably not even 16th in the NFL, maybe closer to 19th. So it's a little disappointing as to what Tampa's done. And I hate to say this out loud, but part of it is coaching. They just don't put enough pressure on opposing offenses. I'm not talking just about sacks, but about coverage, where they allow too many completions and so on. And they're letting people stay in games. And New Orleans beat them fair and square last week. You mentioned Baker, not feeling well or hurt or whatever. He will probably get Mike Evans back tonight. Isn't that the case?
Yeah.
And Mike Evans is such a battler for the ball that it makes Baker Mayfield more confident when he throws to Evans than when he throws to others.
Yeah, they've had the problem with the drops on that team this season as well, besides the injuries on offense. And, when you got that inconsistent defense, which is a little bit of a surprise for them, I thought they would be much better than they have been. And they have to be with their offense missing so many pieces throughout the year.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to put some pressure on Atlanta. Kirk Cousins, they're going to feel like the league feels. He's not as mobile as he used to be. He was never all that mobile. He was more one of those veteran guys who's more instinctive when he faces or feels pressure, but he doesn't have the athleticism of a running back. And a lot of quarterbacks obviously don't. That's fine. But being older, they're going to put some pressure on him, and they should, with Drake London out again, with Kyle Pitts a little bit banged up and so on. You don't want to have that old Tampa defense where you just sit there and let them complete passes.
Yeah. So any thoughts on the spread at all tonight? It's I assume it's still around 4.5.
It's been rising. It's up as much as 5.5 now.
Wow. Okay.
I'm not sure that's if Chris was here, we could discuss that. If Chris is listening, over
Chris
here.
Might be joining us soon, hopefully.
But I think the 4.5 to 5.5, from my point of view, is more of what does Atlanta bring to the table?
Yeah, I think you're right.
And something I mentioned yesterday, this is fatigue. Without the benefit of, I'll play through fatigue because I have something to play for. Yeah. This is fatigue, and what do they have to play for? Really not much. They had the Berlin game. They did not take a bye after Berlin because they already had a bye. They had 2 road games, then they had a home game. Now they're back on the road. So I just don't think in a short week situation, you're going to get Atlanta's best effort. You're going to have to hope that Tampa, again, isn't ready to fire on all cylinders, which is possible. That's where I think the money is coming in on Tampa. There's no faith in Atlanta right now.
Any interest in the OUs in this game?
I have virtually no interest in this particular game. These weeks when there's so much going on, I don't always get to the Thursday game. I do my usual handicap, which is look at the power ratings, look at the matchup indicators, look at the situations. And as it turns out, the power number's right on. The matchup indicators don't reveal much. The only situational indicator, if you want to count it, is that Atlanta fatigue thing. There's just not enough to drive me to this game.
Yeah, and it's not an interesting game to me, but it's certainly an important game to Tampa Bay. They need to figure out a way to get a few more wins here as we go down the stretch. And there's no excuse not to get this one tonight.
Well, if they lose this game, they're in danger of that game at Carolina. I mean, they could go 0-2 against Carolina, right?
Yeah.
And that would be a major problem. Carolina already racked up another win, and just by sitting out last week. Exactly. So it's a win that one would say, do they need, do they not need? Every divisional game matters because that's one of the tiebreaker scenarios. But they don't want to put themselves in the position where they would absolutely have to run the table if they miss this game.
Right. Okay, so that's enough for Thursday night football. Let's talk a little Sunday action. And we're going to go out of order here because I want to talk about the old man. we're going to get into the Chargers and all the sound I have, but it's the old Charger, the ex-Charger that we're going to talk about now. And this guy is back. It is Philip Rivers. And look at the guy next to him there. That was in Charger land. That was Shane Steichen when he was an assistant for a long time with the Bolts. So they have a long history together. And that was just a matter of, that might not have been a phone call, might have been a quick text. Hey, you got anything better to do this weekend? How about joining us? I mean, they are that close, and they know each other's offensive brains left and right. And I think that is the main reason why it is Philip Rivers that they decided to bring in on such short notice, because there's not a lot of prep work. It's like you already know what to do. Now, can you stand up long enough to do it? At 44 years, when he got the call, it was his birthday, his 44th birthday. How's that?
Wow. Yeah, so it's not a home game for them. They have to travel quite a bit of ways to Seattle. So in that respect, I'm a little surprised they're going far away to get somebody. I would understand it a little bit more if he just, I don't know where Philip Rivers is living these days. You might.
I think he's in Florida.
Okay, so I mean, it's really not that far to get to Indianapolis. A little bit far to get to Indianapolis and then get to Seattle, obviously, with the team and stuff like that. Study the playbook. There's a lot of moving parts to this. I think the bottom line is the team hopes that Riley Leonard is healthy because he's been with the team. He's younger. You need some mobility against Seattle. This is not the easiest team you want to face when you're at less than full strength. And Indy's fighting desperately to try to get into the playoffs, a place that they were securely in, speaking of power ratings, about 3 or 4 weeks ago. It's funny because their power rating actually had not dropped with the 1-2 record these last few weeks.
Wow, that's amazing.
My power rating was exactly where it was. They lost an overtime game to Kansas City. They lost a nail-biter toss-up game to streaking Houston. And last week, they lost a toss-up game that all of a sudden became a game that Indy got bet at Jacksonville, even though they hadn't won at Jacksonville in 11 years, now 12. So it's not like they had terrible losses, that they were embarrassed. They were right there. Their power number kind of stayed consistent. But now we have a quarterback issue against one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah. Tell us a little something about Riley Leonard that we should know, because most of us don't know much about him. He does have a knee issue this week, and he is, let's just say, questionable to play much. This might be a good time to play both of them.
Yeah, I think that you have to look at the Friday report. That tells you everything. If a guy's questionable, that's usually 75% of the time he's playing. But that was an old benchmark. It's really 90%. The league calls you out if you're questionable and you don't play. So it's not a 75-25.
Right.
So if I think he's going. I think the Philip Rivers thing is a mistake this week against Seattle. That's just too dangerous a team. They have 41 defensive sacks. They're pretty good at defending the pass. They have, guys like Witherspoon in the back end that could read quarterbacks' eyes. I don't have a problem with Philip Rivers throwing a normal pass and getting in rhythm and stuff like that or whatever. I have a question about, you mentioned play both of them. I have a question about Rivers' overall 60-minute durability.
Oh, absolutely.
So you mentioned it from that standpoint. And
the old line too. Let's discuss, because we've talked about them a few times this year and how they are not where you want them to be. And that's not exactly where Philip Rivers needs them to be this week.
I think they're overachieving as an offensive line. I did not expect them to protect as well for Daniel Jones, who I've questioned his internal clock. So I give the coaching staff a lot of credit for bringing both units, both Daniel Jones above expectations and the offensive line above expectations. So I don't have as many problems there, but you may see some leakage with the young quarterback, Riley Leonard. And then with Philip Rivers, is he going to see wide receivers open right away, just like it was old times, without being in game competition for 5 weeks? Is there a third option that we're not discussing that maybe they should have brought in, or maybe they have? Because typically you have 3 quarterbacks and one's an emergency quarterback.
Right, exactly. So anyway, let's hear from Philip Rivers talking about the coming in because of that bad injury to Daniel Jones, and just the timing is just amazing.
I saw the injury live, and I mean, terrible. Feel terrible for Daniel. I will say when that happened, I mean, I kind of just, in my mind, I was like, what in the world? I was like, just kind of how crazy it's been with the quarterback position. And I have to admit, I thought, well, I wonder if Shane will call later, but kind of thinking, I don't know, and so it was one of those deals. I was like, shoot, you immediately, the competitor in you, and you get kind of excited, like, man, shoot, are you serious, and I was like, well, we'll see, and then Monday morning it kind of sped up a little bit.
So that's Philip Rivers. I go back with him when he was a rookie with the Chargers. He was there with some guy named Drew Brees. And that, I mean, when you talk about an age and different terms of the history of the league, the guy who was the other quarterback, some BU guy, a little short guy, a Boston College guy, remember him? With the
Doug
Chargers.
Flutie.
Exactly. He's in his 60s now.
Yeah.
And doing those, old men commercials. So when you think of, I mean, the fact that they were all together early on in his rookie year is really funny to look back. Philip's a great guy. I wish him well. But I mean, he could be in trouble if he plays a lot and that O-line doesn't hold up.
If Daniel Jones was playing in this game, so the odds if Daniel Jones was playing in this game would still be -7. According to my power numbers. So this was not going to be an easy game if Indianapolis had Daniel Jones at quarterback.
So you're saying that the line would have been how much different?
-7. So we're talking a 6-point difference
now,
a 7-point difference because the line's up to 14.
Is it really? Okay. So now if Riley Leonard starts and plays most of the game and you knew that in advance, how would you change the line?
Situation specific. I would probably have changed it about 3 points if you're talking about playing Atlanta. But I understand a 5-point difference, Atlanta, because you're bringing a different set of characteristics defensively to the table in this game. And I think it's tougher and young quarterbacks making their first start, even though there's a stat out there I think Chris had about how successful they are. It takes a whole team effort to get that going. And we could have said, okay, so the line would be 10 instead of 13.
Right,
or let's say Leonard plays the whole game and the line's 14. That doesn't mean Indy's not going to cover.
Of course.
It just means it's a tough assignment. And the rest of what makes the spread attractive when you have a rookie quarterback in their first start is not just that rookie quarterback, but how the players around him rally. The defense says we have to get one more stop because our quarterback's hurt. The offense says I have to get one more block. The running back says I have to get one more yard. Yeah. So it's that team effort that enters into this point spread discussion. And I think Indy will have that kind of effort where they're going to say, the defense is going to say, we have to be the ones that drive this game. And it could very well happen. But from a quarterback standpoint, I understand the odds move.
Okay, so are you interested at all in this game? Or is this something that, because I could see you going, I could never see you laying 14 points in any NFL game, but taking the 14, do you have enough confidence in what Indy can do to keep this thing close?
Yeah, I wish it was Daniel Jones and I wish it was 7 points or whatever.
Right.
Because I would be getting 7 fewer points. But Seattle has a league-wide NFL situation. And again, I use this in conjunction with other stuff. And some of these situations you think, oh, they're hitting 65% or something overall, but that doesn't mean it's going to continue. It's not continuing. They're hitting 80% this year. I mean, it's just crazy how well they're doing. But I love the situation that Seattle was in this week that goes against Seattle. So if I had a full deck to play with Indianapolis, I probably would have had the Colts.
Okay. But you're not going to do it now.
Game time decision. I really have to look at it. I have to see the quotes. I have to see who's playing, not
Of
just a
course.
quarterback, but everywhere. I am in no rush to make a play on this particular game, and it would not be a big one.
I don't blame you. How about Jacksonville hosting the Jets and what the Jags are doing? Are they for real, in your opinion?
Well, a tale of two cities from my handicapping standpoint from last week. The Jets laid an egg, and I had the Jets as one of my losers.
Right.
And then Jacksonville, which we talked about having the better defense over Indianapolis, but being a toss-up game, and then being practically a 3-point underdog, I ended up having Jacksonville. And I think defensively, you have to take them for real right now.
Yeah.
It's
By the way, you know who also is for real? Mr. Las Vegas, Chris is for real. He's joined us. Hello there, sir.
Hey, guys. I was signing in, and then the contractors needed me and called me outside. So
It's all right. You're good.
I'm having a lot of work done.
We just covered Thursday Night Football and Phillip Rivers, so we're on to the Jags and the Jets right now, and Ron is telling us why Jacksonville is so damn good.
I wouldn't go that far, but I will say that they're legit, especially defensively. They're legit. You're not going to find Trevor Lawrence's quarterback statistics in the top 20. It's just not going to be there. But they do have some run-pass balance. They're getting something out of their running game. They're coaching much better than they have in the last couple of years. And it doesn't hurt to play the Jets, who just have no direction whatsoever. When you see some really bad coaching in the league right now, and that's what's stopping parity, because the bad coaches are digging themselves bigger and bigger holes. And I had one of those bad coaches with the Jets last week, and it was just embarrassing the way they were playing and the way they were moving. Now, one other thought before Chris weighs in, and that's, has Jacksonville earned the right to be a double-digit favorite in the NFL? And that's a new role for them.
And I was going to ask, that's my first question to both of you guys, is the last time they were a 2-touchdown favorite in any decade?
Yeah, it's been a while. I believe they almost lost the game last time they were.
You're talking about like what? Who would have been the coach and quarterback then?
No, I think it was relatively recent, and it was
Really?
a last game situation.
Oh, okay.
Matt Brunell, maybe?
Yeah, he was good.
Any thoughts on this game, Chris, before we move on?
On the Jacksonville game?
Yeah.
I think it's, I don't think, I think for the performance that you saw from the Jets last week, you can't help but get a better effort. That's a lot of points for Jacksonville to be laying. And
Exactly.
It's just really too many. I keep on forgetting, though, I think Tyrod Taylor is definitely out, isn't he?
That I have not heard.
Yeah, so that's another question. That'll be our third different quarterback unless Fields comes back for the Jets. So
who would the other quarterback be?
I'd have to look that particular one up because I'm not interested so much in the game.
Brady Cook.
Brady Cook. Oh, yeah, he played a little last week. Yeah, it's very vanilla. He's not going to do much.
Okay.
And Jackson, against that kind of defense that Jacksonville has, boy, you'd have to look at a low-scoring game in that case.
I wonder if Joe Namath is available, guys. They already brought back Phillip Rivers. Why not?
Well,
Grandpa week.
There was some athlete that Steve Young was like chastised in the situation.
He's saying, hey, how come he didn't call me?
Well, Cam Newton is available, and he was really upset, I heard.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm not joking. He was
I know, I heard that. All right. That's enough for the Jags. What do we have on Houston, Atlanta? The best defense against one of the worst offenses.
Houston, Arizona, you mean?
I mean Arizona. Sorry, Arizona.
Well, it's a lame duck staff, most likely in Arizona. But it is, we talked about this yesterday, so Chris could elaborate. But, Houston's on an amazing roll, and they beat a lot of good teams. And it's human nature to have a little letdown here.
Yeah. But I'm also thinking, could Arizona be in give up mode a little bit now. And if Houston just scores, 28, they're in great shape to take care of biz. Can they?
Yeah, I think they can. I think they'll be fine in this game. It's amazing how we tried to work with this Houston 4 or 5 weeks ago, and now they've got these two dead games. They play Arizona this week. They play the Raiders next week. I mean, they're in fine position. Just take care of business and win.
Exactly. And I love the OU's around 42.5. On that one?
Not me. What do you love about him?
What do I love about it?
Yeah.
I just don't see either team scoring much.
Okay.
And if Arizona is in give-up mode, I mean, to me, it could just be one of those, 27-10 kind of games.
Well, Arizona gave up 7.9 yards per play last week, and
I know, but they're also going against an offense that doesn't tend to do that.
They've given up 40 or more points 3 out of the last 5 games.
Yeah.
One thing to look at is both running backs for Houston got banged up last week. Nick Chubb did not return, and Woody Marks was used, but he wasn't 100%. So I'd look at the injury report on Friday.
Have you guys done anything with this game at all?
I think it's a perfect 3-team teaser for Houston.
Okay.
But I wouldn't do anything with the regular spread. I don't think Houston's not going to feel compelled to win by margin, I don't think.
No, I totally get you. All right. The next game is really one of the best games of the year. Buffalo, New England. Fascinates me what New England is doing, except for one thing. Their schedule is still against the Sisters of Mercy. So no excuses this week, boys. What are we thinking on this game? And we're talking weather is going to be a factor in a lot of cities in this Sunday. It's going to be really cold and maybe some snow up here.
If it is that way, the Buffalo quarterback Josh Allen likes snow.
Oh yeah.
So
even though he's from Northern California.
Yeah, no problem with that. Played in it in Wyoming, played in it in Buffalo, won in it last week. Fascinating game. New England with the week off, which is interesting. So I make a case for either team.
Right.
Well, it's going to be 30 degrees with 100% chance of precipitation.
Wow.
10-mile-an-hour wind, so it's looking a little choppy.
Yep.
It seems like this line's been ping-ponging, both sides of the one, but more often Buffalo favored by 1. Out of the last 52 games, Buffalo's only lost by more than 7 3 times. So,
wow.
This seems like a great teaser game, number one. If you can get either direction.
Yeah.
But there's some ugly trends with teams with the winning streak New England has coming off the bye that do not favor them at all. It's actually not very good. It's a 1-16 situation. So that's my concern because New England, I have is clearly the better team, but you've got that revenge situation also. The one thing that the Patriots do have in their favor is the referee situation, which is 69% favoring the home team, 47-16. I think Hussey's the lead ref on that. So just a few odds and ends on that game, but I lean New England. But the sharp money seems to be on Buffalo.
Yeah, I just don't. I want to see this game, how New England does against not a great defense, obviously, but just in a game that should be competitive against one of the better teams, even though, did we just lose Chris?
Looks like we lost him just a second.
Wow, is it anything I said? I got to stop ripping him on the air there. While he's gone, let's hear from Josh Allen, who's talking a little bit about his opponent, Drake Maye.
Obviously, Drake is playing at an extremely high level right now. He's extremely fun to watch. And he's obviously put their team in a really good position and helped get them to where they're at. So we, on the offensive side, can't focus on what their offense is doing, but we have to know that, again, each drive is very important, and points are at a premium, especially against this defense. They're doing a good job of keeping teams to under 20-ish points throughout the entire season.
So there's Josh Allen. Let's hear from his counterpart in Drake Maye, who Ron feels could be the next Tom Brady.
You're really worried about all the whatever the underdog, whatever they set the line at. It's us first team regardless of if we put the ball down. It's going to be 0-0 for 60 minutes. We know we got to play a full game. So we got some great players over there. We got some great coaches, and they've won the division for 5 years. So we got something that we need to go take, and it's going to be hard to do, but we're up for it.
Are they up for it? I'm not so sure. I don't have the confidence that they're up for it, to be honest with you.
What Chris was saying when he was laying out some of the stats and figures and situations and stuff was what I was saying as well. There's some things that favor both sides. There's the revenge factor, there's this or that. So all those situations, and there are a few of them, they kind of canceled each other out for me. I looked at the matchups. Early in the season, we were all talking about, I especially was talking about how poor Buffalo was defending the run.
Yeah.
And then they got their two guys back. Remember, they had PED suspensions, both defensive linemen for 6 weeks. They came back week 7 and 8, and they played much better versus the run. Now one of them's gone for the year again right after that. And if you look at their last 4 or 5 weeks, as Chris likes to do with his trailing 5 or whatever, it turns out that Buffalo has not really improved against the run. So we know what Buffalo is. New England knows what Buffalo is. Buffalo knows what New England is, which is a team that forces you to pass the ball. So they're going to force Josh Allen to pass the ball, but Josh Allen's a good quarterback. So we'll see how that works. There are just so many things going on here. And like I said yesterday, right now, I'm just taking a wait and see attitude to see what happens with the actual closing line.
Yeah, it makes sense. And here's your playoff clinching scenario. And basically, we're down to the Broncos and the Pats win, and they're in. And you wouldn't have said that about 12, 13, 14 weeks ago, right?
Well, we knew New England won the free agency market. They spent the most. That's always worked. We knew they also had I said they had a top 3 draft. They had a better coach. They had the 4th place schedule. But no, we still didn't think that they were going to win the division.
Right. So you guys doing anything on the straight play here at all, or is this just a tease for you, Chris?
I like the Patriots to win this game. I'm not a believer in the Bills. I mentioned it yesterday. It's amazing. If you would have told Bills fans that they didn't have to worry about Mahomes, Jackson, or Burrow in the playoffs, you'd think that they would be a stone cold lock, to make it to the Super Bowl. And now there's a lot of landmines without those guys. Lamar may still make it in there, but that team's got problems.
Yeah. So what would your record be right now, you think, for Buffalo if Josh Allen was not the quarterback? Like 4 or 5 wins? I know it depends on who, but still, I mean, he's got to play Superman or they're in trouble against the better teams.
But they've been doing that differently. They're focusing on the run game, and they're not putting him in a position where he has to be.
Yeah, but he's part of the run game.
Well,
he is.
Yeah, but they're doing it differently than in years past. We're going to have to see how it works in the playoffs.
I agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we got the Chargers at the Chiefs. I'm going to be all over this one because I was at the Chargers win on Monday night against the Philadelphia Eagles, which one of the ugliest games I've ever watched in my life. That was not a defensive game. That was the bad news Bears against the really bad news Bears. It was We had 6 turnovers in the first half. That's the first time that's happened all year long. It was just ugly, guys. What did you think of the game overall?
I thought part of it was defensive struggle and the fact that the receivers couldn't get open for the Chargers. But part of it was these teams trying to find a way to win. And Jalen Hurts didn't get any help from his receivers, a lot of tip drop passes. And Justin Herbert just decided, I'll be the one-armed bandit, and I'm going to do what I need to do, even if I'm going to call a play that the rest of the team doesn't think I'm going to call, which is what he did at the end when he didn't tell anybody he was going to bootleg it. So a lot of heart for the Chargers in that particular game.
Yeah, I have to say I've never been a Herbert fan, but he won me over. Obviously, I had the Chargers, so they made it easier to win me over. But, a newfound respect for him because I certainly didn't expect him to be as involved in the running game, and he was key. He was absolutely key, and he's a trooper.
Yeah, it really is. I love the fact that everybody was referring to the stiff arm that he threw, one arm. That takes guts, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it shows his win for the team attitude and stuff like that. I mean, he was going to say, we're going to do this now and I'll pay the consequences later, but we have a chance to win this game. He was not thinking ahead to the next week or the rehab the next day.
Right, exactly.
I'm a bit worried because it does. I'm guessing that he did tweak the injured hand a little bit, reading between the lines, and just got to hope that it's going to be okay. But there definitely was a price to pay.
Yeah, the good news is it was the other hand, and you don't have to use it a lot. A little bit of hand. He was even handing off mostly with the right. They've figured it out. And just don't do anything stupid out there. But he tries. He's got a little Josh Allen in him. Always trying to that little extra step here and an extra, few seconds. And he's getting hammered out there. You can't be sacked 7 times in a game and ever expect to win. But they did anyway. Let's hear from his head coach, Jim Harbaugh, who first talked about his running game, which, came through pretty decently against that Philly D.
Amari and Kamani both, I thought, really played great. Great to have them both out there. And when they made the plays, and it was tough. I mean, you talk about. You could compare it to a heavyweight fight. I mean, what they were going through, what everybody was going through. Both sides of the ball. There was blows, and
here comes Harbaugh.
That was very, very, very tough men out there. Plus faith on both sides. You could see it. It was the football guys. I would think would be really about watching that game.
Don't the football gods though have an issue when you turn the ball over as many times, and you usually end up on the wrong end of that? What do stats mean in a game like this? It seems like absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I think both sides.
Yeah, exactly.
Both sides were feeling that. It got to a point where it got to, and when it got there, I couldn't exactly tell you, but yeah, stats are irrelevant. Everybody just playing ball. And just giving it their all, giving it their very best. I think that's what you saw.
Yeah.
And, the respect I have for a very tough man who played this game is the highest.
Is this one of the ultimate whatever it takes to win games?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure he's right. Anyway, let's hear from Justin Herbert, who I got a few seconds with after the game.
Talk to Jim about the importance of this game and the stats. Okay, is this a perfect example of for the rest of your career? You could say the stats don't mean a damn thing as long as you get the W, because you get sacked 7 times, a pick, a lost fumble, and what does it mean in the end, right?
Yeah, it's all about winning, and that's our job number one. And for us to go out there and, obviously there are a lot of things that I'd love to clean up. A couple plays that I'd love to have back, and that's why I would watch the film. And we're going to watch it tomorrow and be critical of ourselves. And it was just really cool the way we saw the defense battle, the special teams. It's a tough game. They're a really good opponent, and for us to be able to walk away with a win there, we're all really happy with it.
The ultimate, whatever it takes, kind of a win.
Yeah, it's going out there and competing and doing your best, and by any means, and making sure that we're walking away with a win. And I think all three phases did their best today.
The old Pete Carroll, just compete, baby, right? And that's what they did in this game. It really was, hey, let's leave it to Dicker the kicker because he can kick it from 65 and he doesn't miss. So that's the way it worked out. And of course, the late interception helped a lot too. Another bad turnover by Hurts in the game.
So it was a great win by the Chargers, but now they have to come right back to play KC. And
exactly.
And so, Chris, we see the line go from 5 to really 6 right now, actually 4.5 to 5 to 6. And what we've been discussing as far as the consequences of Herbert and how healthy he is that why the line has moved? Are there services on them? There's a lot of things going on there, but personally, I think it's kind of the right move.
You mentioned it. It's the short week. It's definitely do or die for Kansas City. I just don't see that move being reasonable, though. I think you're getting some extra value with the Chargers here just because of the Kansas City aura and people not willing to let go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about yesterday. I talked about where would my line set be in a normal week. Chargers coming Sunday to Sunday with a healthy Herbert. This line should be KC 3. So you're, that's a lot of value at this particular point, and that's why I mentioned that if you like KC, you really shouldn't be given that. You should be doing other things like I suggested money line yesterday.
Okay, let's hear from the linebacker, Daiyan Henley, who I got after the game. He was having a little fun with his uncle, who was a Philadelphia Eagles fan, and he was saying they were going to destroy him in this game, and it didn't happen. But I asked Daiyan a little bit about the Chiefs, too.
Your uncle? That's my Uncle Gilly. He got the podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
He's a Philly guy?
Yeah, if you go to his Instagram, he posted a video where he was talking mess and said my name. He said they was going to kill us. So I had to get a little get back.
I love it.
A whole lot of joy. I'm a humble guy, but he took me out of my body.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Let me calm down. I'm calm if I say too much.
Take a deep breath.
All right, I'm back.
All right. How big was this?
It was huge. It was a huge win. Exhilarating, to say the least. But the best thing about it was that it was a team effort, and it took all 3 phases. And we got a hell of a leader in Justin Herbert. Played out with a broken hand, just had surgery, and tried to throw a stiff arm with it. I mean, the man is insane. Respect.
And if I told you before the game, he'd have a pick, a lost fumble, 7 sacks, and throw for only 130-something yards, you'd say, we're in trouble against this team.
I mean,
right?
No doubt. You said it better than I could have. It's a lot of respect to that team over there. We had a lot to do with, the success, but they made it close. You feel me? At the end of the day, they made it close. And that's a team that's battling to the end, and that's not a bad team by any means.
Hell no. What does that say about you guys?
It says we're trying to put together a winning back end of the season. And that's what we see right now. At the end of the day, we're trying to be winners. That means a lot. It embodies a lot, but that's what we're trying to do.
And you got 2 back-to-back pissed off teams when you play Philly and now Kansas City, and they still got a little chance left, and they're going to want this one real bad.
I think with respect to every team that comes across us, we just got to do our job. And, at the end of the day, like you said, they were a mad team. They're about to place a mad team, but obviously it's not about what they do, it's about what we do.
And it's not just mad. You got to win, baby.
100%. Come on now.
Enjoy it.
Respect. Got to go get the dub.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
There you go, Daiyan Henley. And real quick, here's Oronde Gadsden, the Chargers tight end, who I also got a little feedback on at the end about Kansas City game. Going against the Super Bowl champs, and your quarterback's got a broken hand, and he gets sacked 7 times, and you still get a W.
Yeah, unfortunately he did get sacked, but whatever it took to win, and that's what we're all about, man. You see 10 coming out there, doesn't matter how many times he got hit, doesn't matter, what the circumstances are, he's going to get it done by any means, and obviously that's a great win against a playoff Super Bowl worthy team,
Exactly.
and obviously the 2024 Super Bowl champs, and we knew how good they were coming into the game, but we just think we were the better team coming in, so we wanted to show that.
What is it about finding a way to win that tells you about your team?
Just scratching and clawing until the last second,
Yep.
Last play, just making sure that you can have more points than them at the end of the game. We just want to get to the end of the game whenever the clock hits 0, we want to have more points than them, and it doesn't matter how we get it done, doesn't matter what we have to do. We just want to have that picture at the end of the game.
Everybody says one game at a time, and it is one game at a time, but this game was huge.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when you look at it, if you don't get this one, then you've got a major uphill climb.
Yeah, that's like every game since the bye week. We've been trying to climb, we've been trying to get up, and we just gonna keep going. Like you said, one game at a time.
Yep.
We got KC next week,
Yep.
and that's what we're on to. We'll come back in on Wednesday, and we'll get right to it. Get into watching film, get into the game plan, get into everything. Fortunately enough, we've already played them, so we can get a little idea on them with the short week that we have coming up.
Yeah, and last thing on KC, I mean, it's just like Philly. They're coming in, they're going to be pissed next week too, right? And in their circumstances, that's going to be a tough one as well.
Oh yeah, they're playing. They still have a chance to get in.
Exactly.
So they're gonna scratch and claw with everything they got too.
Yep.
So we also, just like they're gonna try to do anything to win, we gotta try to do anything to win. And whoever wants it more, whoever's gonna try harder to do it, is gonna come out successful at the end of the game.
Whatever it takes, baby.
Whatever it takes.
Okay, there's Oronde Gadsden. There's something about the Chargers team, and this about football as much as most sports. You sort of take after your head coach. You have a little bit of that attitude, and you know what Jim Harbaugh is about. Hi, Ron. Sorry to wake you, Ron.
Oh,
Is it a Sharon Moore comment?
no, I thought it was Chris's turn.
Okay. No, I mean, there's a Jim Harbaugh sort of a feel to this team now that he's been there a couple of seasons where, they have his attitude.
Yeah,
Who's got it better? Who's got it better than them?
Nobody.
Herbert showed that last week.
Yeah, exactly. So, but with Kansas City in the situation they're in, what about the matchup here? Forget about the circumstances. Are you trusting what KC is bringing to the table at this stage? And I'm thinking defensively as well.
Well, my matchup stats slightly favor KC in this particular game.
Okay.
They will probably have a slight edge in getting to the opposing quarterback.
Okay.
Under normal circumstances, I'd expect Herbert to complete plenty of passes, so that's not going to be a problem.
Right.
KC has occasionally had a problem with run-pass balance, where they've had to rely on Mahomes to do the bulk of the running. But there's a path, especially in a short week, for KC's running backs to be more effective in this game.
Right. And here we see the Chiefs' slim chances of getting to the playoffs. They need a lot of things to happen. But what they need to happen for sure is win. And they'll worry about the rest later. And they're not finding ways to win. This is a totally different feel to this team in the last decade.
I think unfortunately they need to regroup. They need to retool and reload. And you're just watching them kind of fade away a little bit. There's only so much they can do. Their most successful plays seem to come on broken plays that Mahomes, has to create. So
right.
You can't have success when that's, where you have the most success. Well, it wasn't all his fault last game. There were a lot of dropped balls, and the game could have gone differently if the balls were getting caught. But Lawrence and Goff and Stafford faced the same issues with dropped balls.
Right. Anyway, it's certainly not the same Chiefs team, but hey, it happens to everybody. This might be the end of the run. You never know. Or are they able to get a couple of players that'll make a difference? let's go back to the Eagles because they host the Raiders, which should not be a problem off of a bad loss. A short week, though, and Philadelphia has got to show something offensively because they are absolutely abysmal to watch right now. And maybe Hurts is trying to be Mahomes, and he's not.
Well,
guys,
I don't know. I don't have much to say about this game. We'll see what the temperature is. We'll see let's see. Kenny Pickett is starting for the Raiders against one of his old teams.
Yes.
The bottom line is Philly's defense matches up very well with Vegas's offense, and
right.
as long as they're not feeling the effects of the short week, then they should win the game.
Simple, but that also goes the other way. The Raiders play the number 2 volume of zone coverage, and Hurts has the most trouble against zone coverage. So that you throw Kenny Pickett in there as a wild card, and the game could get goofy on him.
Yeah, I think you're right.
A lot depends on if Vegas can play with them early. Let's say Vegas could get a 3-0 or 7-3 lead or something and get engaged in the game.
Yeah.
Because Vegas's play calling with and without Chip Kelly is prehistoric at times.
That's very, very true. Anyway, that's enough of the Vegas. Anything we talk more about the Raiders more than 12 seconds is way too much. The Bengals are home to the Ravens. And I mean, I'm hearing rumors now that Joe Burrow doesn't even want to be in Cincinnati. I don't know what the hell how much truth there is to that. But at the same time, I'm not so sure what Baltimore has to offer at this point. They need to win and pretty much win out, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
With a loss, they still have a 12% chance.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah,
it's tough. I don't know what exactly the tiebreakers are, but certainly they need to win enough to make the last game against Pittsburgh relevant.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, against the Cincinnati D or lack of, this is everything Lamar could ask for. I don't know what kind of physical shape he's in. Did he? If he's even practicing today? But
he's practicing. He's fine. He has no injury designation.
Oh, good. Okay, so that's fine. But he's not the same player. He's not running around. He's not doing what he usually does. And that creates so much out there. So he's got to play. He's not exactly your typical pocket passer and might have to be more so down the stretch. And that's not exactly what the Ravens are looking for.
Yeah, see, Baltimore's path to victory is to, when they run the ball, make defenses think that it could be either Henry or Lamar Jackson. And for the last 6 weeks, when the Ravens have run the ball, teams aren't paying attention to Lamar Jackson unless it's 3rd and 7 and he absolutely has to get a first down. Right. So until they make Lamar Jackson a run threat again, part of the dynamic nature of this offense goes away.
And we talk a lot about the how bad the Bengals D is, but what about the Ravens defense against Joe Burrow and how that matches up?
Well, it didn't match up well 2 weeks ago. And
exactly.
Kind of a short turnaround. You wonder if a team can beat a team twice in 3 weeks. We're seeing it a lot. We're going to see it with Chicago, Green Bay in a couple of weeks as well. Where the NFL, and we're going to see it, unfortunately, with a less than healthy Washington team against Philly. The NFL is scheduling a lot of these very, very quick turnarounds,
that is strange.
Which is another thing I don't understand. But we could get on the NFL schedule makers a lot.
Yeah.
There's not going to be that much defense played in this game.
Are you doing anything on this game, guys? Is it still 2.5?
Montana said Baltimore?
Baltimore, huh? Cincinnati?
Baltimore?
Okay, so you're laying a few points, and then you're probably going to tease them as well to get over a field goal, right?
Oh, I like that plus 7.5.
Okay.
If anything, I'll be on Cincy in this game. They fit a nice December situation. The one thing I don't like is that they beat them just a few days ago.
Got it. All right, we'll skip Washington and the Giants, which should be illegal. Cleveland and Chicago, interesting game there because the Bears are solid favorites, and they never beat anybody solidly, or not usually. But how real are they in your minds, guys? And they got to beat Shador and the Browns here.
I think they're the real deal, but they're in that sandwich spot that Ron pointed out yesterday.
Yeah.
They've got Green Bay on the horizon, so they better not take Cleveland too lightly, and I don't think that they will.
I don't either.
So they may not cover that spread. The spread is short. Ron and I agree that the line should be higher, but the situational factors, I think, the line is where it should be.
What about the pass rush of Cleveland against Caleb?
Well, Caleb's been protected a lot better this year.
Yes, he has.
I know he talked about Myles Garrett and not wanting him to break the record against him and stuff like that. But
right.
Chicago's allowed 20 defensive sacks. So the addition of Ben Johnson and the understanding of, it's such a night and day difference in terms of offensive play calling from this year to last year has erased the concern about sacks in general. Now, Cleveland poses a threat, but I'm not as concerned. And like I said yesterday, I came away really impressed with how Chicago held their own last week.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the next game here, which is Tennessee at San Francisco, and the Niners heavy favorites, and they should be. Tennessee's just absolutely awful. Is there anything to even bring up on this game at all?
No.
Okay, that was easy. You too, Chris?
No.
Okay, well, the Lions and the Rams is where I will be, and that's where Chris's heart will be. It's Goff, it's Stafford, it's everything you want. Two teams that are in the mix of the elite, even though Detroit is not where they have been in the past. But I think it's going to be two fired-up squads at SoFi.
Yeah, it's. I think Detroit has lost 4 straight games off of a win, so that's kind of a concern.
Yeah,
but I don't think you have any issues with these teams getting up for each other.
Hell no.
But what is kind of interesting is the Lions' defense is prepared. The way they play defense on a regular basis with the number of linebackers that they have actually fits in much better than a normal team having to adjust to the Rams' 13 player set with the 3 tight ends that normally confuses teams. Yep. So that's a feather in Detroit's cap a little bit. If the Lions are able to stop the running game, that's going to, cause some problems also. So the Rams they're not going to find the same, game plan that works with other teams, able to work with the Detroit defense per se. These games have been shootouts in the past, though. So I just don't think Campbell wants a shootout, even though his defense is better than it was last year.
No, I'd like to use up some clock, to be honest with you, and keep the Rams offense off the field as much as possible. And I want to ask Ron about how he thinks the Lions pass rush, how the Rams pass rush matches up against Jared Goff. And because I think that's everything in this game. If he starts being rushed again, I think this is Rams all the way.
It's funny because I think expectations are that the Rams are going to get through at least a couple of times and disrupt them up the middle. They know Goff's tendencies like any other team.
Yep.
What you started to say is really the meat of the issue is what can Aiden Hutchinson and the Lions pass rush do to disrupt Matthew Stafford? Because it seems every other week we're seeing a no-look pass under no pressure by Matthew Stafford because his offensive line continuously keeps teams off of his back. I think the game might hinge more on creative defensive play calling from the Lions than it does the other way around.
Yeah, and a Rams win, and they are in the postseason. And this is what I got yesterday. Rams playoff tickets are on sale. So whatever happens.
Makes a wonderful holiday present for Chris.
It's going to be interesting to see if Gibbs can have the success he's had over the last few games, because he's been on fire. If Gibbs, they get Gibbs and Jamison going short, then they're going to cause the Rams defense problems. I mean, if Carolina can zip through that defense, why can't Detroit?
Yeah, you guys doing anything on that yet at all, the game?
I'm a little surprised. I understand it by power ratings, but I wouldn't have guessed even 2 weeks ago that we would have seen a line this high, because the way these teams play, you almost figure that it's going to be 3-point game. And the last one was an overtime 6-point victory, and then there was the playoff game. Like I said to Chris, I looked at this game in July. So I don't have to worry about all that stuff, because it was double revenge for the Rams, and it was the Rams at home instead of being at Detroit. And so I have the Rams as a dog in terms of what I have. But as far as where the line is now, I can't endorse the Rams. I would only look at the Lions over 3 points.
Well, you got a giant middle action there, right?
Not enough money to worry about the middle.
Oh, okay.
I find it surprising that the Rams defense is rated higher than their offense, because we think of them as an offensive team.
Yeah.
Yeah, that defense is rolling. I'm looking at my numbers, and you're right. That defense is really hot.
Let's do rapid fire so we can get this show out of the way. Next game is Carolina at New Orleans. Your thoughts on that one in a short spread?
Well, I'll tell you that any NFC South game, you first look at the dog.
Right.
We'll see. Carolina has rest. I'm not sure that's good or bad. Just tell me what Bryce Young's going to do this week, and I'll tell you what happens.
If Carolina wins and the Bears lose, the Bears go from the number 1 seed to having lower playoff odds than Carolina in 2 weeks.
Oh, okay, interesting. Let's go to the next games. The Packers at Denver. This is a very interesting game, and I think we're going to find out a lot about both teams. Do you agree?
No.
No? Why not? Boy, okay. Well, nice talking to you.
I think we know about both teams. That's why.
I don't think we know about Denver.
Yeah,
I don't agree, because I'm not so sure. Again, it depends on I don't trust their offense, and I'd like to see more consistency. I want to see what their offense does at home against the Packers defense that's been hot and cold.
Okay.
Ted, can you think of a team that's ever been on a 10-game winning streak that's a home underdog?
It's ridiculous.
Have you ever seen that before?
Yeah, and we got 2 of them this week?
Yeah.
I know, that's amazing. Anyway, what are you going to do?
I don't think this isn't a critical game for the Packers. Their playoff chances the difference is 88 to 99%. So
no, it's not critical, but I know they want to play, and they're healthy as they've been in a while. I think they want to try and build some consistency down the stretch here.
I think they just need to keep Love healthy, because that the sack attack Ron was mentioning with Denver is going to be all over him like a bad rash.
You guys doing anything on the spread on this game?
Are they playing this week? I had no idea.
I guess you're not. Is that the answer to that question?
It's not the answer. Tune in for yesterday's show.
You're not going to tell me who not everybody watched yesterday's show. What are you doing in the game?
Ron's on a Rocky Mountain high.
He's got Denver. Is that your play of the week?
Yep. I like Denver. Let's put it that way.
Okay, you got it. We already talked about Indy, and what about Minnie at Dallas? Is Minnie going to show up?
Well, you got a bad team off that got a win, and that's usually not a great spot for a bad team to be in, since they get to breathe a little bit. Dallas only raises their chances to 18% with a win, but they seem to be highly motivated. I don't know what to make of Minnesota after what they did last week out of the blue.
Yeah, it seems like it's really hard to take Dallas though and lay that many points because again, the trust factor. But Minnie has been Minnie, so they beat a bad team. Whatever, who cares?
Well,
Yeah,
hey, Dallas is
it's not
perfectly-
about Minnie.
Dallas is absolutely symmetrical. They are number 2 team in offense, and they're the second worst in defense.
Exactly. So, are you doing anything on this game, guys?
Well, typically, for handicappers who bet straight bets, Dallas with that kind of defense and laying a touchdown, roughly a touchdown and stuff like that, is a good way to lose money. So, you just can't lay that kind of points with that defense. I'm really not interested in the game, but if I did say yesterday, if there's ever a spot that Justin Jefferson is going to gain more than 11 yards and 4 yards, this would be it.
And my favorite stat of every year, look at Dallas, 6-1. So they're on pace for another 500 season.
I'll guarantee you they don't finish 500. Oh, actually, they couldn't they?
Yes, they can.
They get the bye.
I think if you put a prop up, will Dallas be 8-1? Yes or no?
Oh, I like it.
In theory, the odds would be probably plus money for 8-1, but in practice, it's probably going to end 8-1.
Yep. I'd take it right now at even money, baby.
You know it's going to happen.
Exactly. And that's a Sunday night game too, which is, oh man, I'm going to have to think of something better to do Sunday night. And Monday night, Miami at Pittsburgh. Any interest in that game at all, guys?
Historically, this has been a sweet spot for Pittsburgh because it's such a bad spot for Miami in a number of ways. We do have JJ Watt news.
TJ or JJ?
Today. TJ Watt news with a lung problem. He's in the hospital. So we'll monitor that.
I didn't see that. With like a virus thing, you mean?
I don't know, but it's scary. So we'll see.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see him. I don't think they sent somebody to the hospital. Something, relatively serious occurred today, and they took him to the hospital. So,
that's sad.
Yeah. So regardless, all suspension as to what we think about the game or whatever, we're going to check on his health first.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the Watts, good guys too, out of Wisconsin. Wrap this thing up, guys. And it's going to be cold in Pittsburgh. It's going to be cold in a lot of places. Don't know how much that's going to be affect some wind factors out there this week, but overall, hey, we're in December. What do you expect, right?
Yeah, it's about 80 degrees here today. So
I'm showing that Tua, is infamous for, playing crappy in cold weather games because we have seen a couple of miserable performances, but I'm showing in 45 degrees or less, he's 3-3 against the spread.
Oh, that's interesting.
In temperatures of 63 or less, he's 7-14.
I would not have guessed that. Okay.
Barring turnovers and field position, it shapes up as a lower scoring game. And the one thing I will say is that we got 27 and 18 against the spread, these characteristics for an under in the game.
Oh.
But I think the spread has already dropped 3 points. Is that the one that had dropped 3 points?
You mean the total?
No, the total's still there, 41.5.
I mean, just the fact that Miami's won 4 straight, but it's because of who they beat. It's not making a big deal to you.
Well, it made a big deal to me last week, and it failed, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, they double their chances to make the playoffs. It goes up from 1% to 2%.
That's beautiful. Guys, we're done. Week 15. Good show. Appreciate it. See you next week. I don't know what we're going to do next week. Christmas Day. Maybe we'll do the Wednesday thing. We haven't even talked about it. We'll figure it out during the week.
It's Christmas already?
Yeah.
You got 2 weeks before that. Don't speed up the calendar.
2 weeks before Christmas.
Yeah, it's not Christmas yet.
I just want to see if you're paying attention.
Okay.
See you guys.
Good luck,
Have a good week. Good luck, everybody.